very traditional experience of Kundalini energy, where it awakens, it rushes up the spine. And you'll notice at different centers, if there's blockages at different centers, sometimes they can tighten, they can tense. The throat is a very common center. Whereas the energy, rushes up the spine, the throat is a gate between the heart and the third eye and moving into the crown chakra. So the throat often constricts and tends to hold back this energy. It's one of the jobs of the throat chakra is, in a sense, to micromanage energy within our body. And so for the nervous system, when this energy, especially if it's explosive, if it starts rushing up the spine and it gets to, the throat, sometimes the throat will clench real quick because it has a fear that the energy will overwhelm your mind. Because the thought is, egoically, if our mind is overwhelmed, we go crazy. That's the unconscious fear. Sometimes there'll be an energetic block in our heart or our emotional center because, as the energy comes up, it says, oh boy, there's too much there. If I fully let that energy into my heart, I might burst out laughing, like you said. I might cry, I might, freak out. And so, the thing that I'm noticing with you is, with the blinking of the eyes is when the energy is really shooting up our spine, quickly, the nervous system can start to develop little, just little strange movements. In the yogic tradition, they're called kriyas. Sometimes the eyes can blink a lot. Sometimes the neck can arch. Sometimes our hands can get stuck like this. And so, all this is common, but it's just, your job is just to open and let this energy just move through your system. And it will, it'll take a little bit of time for it to all work itself out. But it's very common. Some people, the head arches, sometimes the eyes will close and, get stuck, or they'll be squinting, or the teeth will grit, or there'll be tension in the neck, the shoulders tighten up. It's just because it's a new energy that's awakening within you. And as it's flowing, the old, say, nervous system is a little bit clueless. It's like, what the hell is this? And sometimes it'll go into a fight or flight response. But your job is just to be relaxed, be open, and let it flow. Just have a gentle curiosity about it. If you have unconscious thoughts that this is bad, or this is crazy, this is too much, I want you just to gently remember you're letting go into God. You're not letting go into some uncontrollable, crazy, demonic, possessed experience. And I've worked with a lot of people, they feel possessed by this energy. It feels demonic to them. They're like, what the hell is this? I don't understand. But because you have a good heart and a sincere heart, this energy can flood through you, and you have a sense of faith, and so it's easy for it to flood through you. And so this is a very good thing that you have, a faith, a trust, an openness that leads to a natural non-resistance. But if we begin to, be fearful of this energy, then that energy, the different centers, the nervous system will begin to kind of tense up around it. And then the energy isn't able to flow through us as smoothly.
I did notice, and that seemed to clear up a lot, makes sense. I did notice after the fact that what when came into consciousness is I was worried about what y'all might think if I lost control or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, keep in mind, if you're meditating and you have some laughter or some tears, that's fully welcome here. Yeah, fully welcome here. And it's very common if we go on a long meditation retreat, these energies will start flowing. People will let out hysterical laughter. They'll start crying. Hell, if we do enough yoga, we can have tears. and laughter that comes forward. But no one's judging you here, and there's no reason to judge yourself. And it's good to remember that this energy, it's just clearing out your system. And so, one of the jobs that the ego has done most of our life, it has repressed emotion. So like when we were a child, if we were crying, and we grew up in a household where our father or our mother didn't let us cry, those tears kind of stay in our body for a long time. And so when this energy begins to move, whether it's from the bottom up or from the top down, that wall of ego begins to fade. Also that the ability for the ego to repress this emotion within us, that doorway begins to burst open, and then we'll feel, like rushes of sadness, rushes of laughter, rushes of bliss, rushes of energy, rushes of anxiety, rushes of, all kinds of different feelings. Sometimes it's brilliant lights, sometimes it's, childhood wounds, childhood memories, different visions of this and that. All kinds of things can come forward. And so it's important that you let it flow and you don't judge any of it. And again, back to this fear of going crazy, or losing control, we have to remember we're letting go into God, letting go into grace. We're not letting go into demonic possession. We're letting go. Some people have a fear, if I let go of, this aspect of ego is the aspect of superego. Its job is to repress and control our behavior. But if you let go of superego and just allow divinity to flow through you, there's going to be periods of laughter, tears, sadness, anxiety, whatever, along with bliss, brilliance, spaciousness, vastness. But again, we're letting go into the Spirit, into the divine, into our divinity. And that's a good thing. A lot of people, they can let go, but as soon as the energy gets too intense, they say, holy shit, and they clamp down and clamp their throat chakra, their root chakra, their belly, and try to stop that energy. When we do that, the energy, is kind of forced into all different directions within ourselves. And then all of a sudden we feel this divine pressure building up inside. And for a lot of people, it makes them feel nutty. Yeah, so it's good. So you just open and trust, and you won't go crazy. And if you do start to go crazy, the teaching is the same as before. Don't believe your thoughts. Let the emotions move through you, and don't believe the thoughts. If the thoughts start to race, if they start to get crazy, if they start to get neurotic, don't believe the thoughts. It's just the light burning up the craziness. It's burning the craziness out of us. It's just a movement of purification, completely normal. Where most people drop the ball is when they sit and they meditate or whatever, when these energies, Kundalini starts moving through us, it starts to move the darkness up and out of us. We believe the darkness, we get confused by the darkness, we identify with the darkness, and then as a result, we suffer greatly. But your job is to stay in the still point of the light and to see clearly that is just the past burning out of me. That's my ego being purified out of me. That's, my cellular memories being emptied out of this form. That's all it is. If you touch it and get involved with it, you'll suffer again. If you just let it move through you and feel, sometimes it's required that you feel the pain of it and let it empty out of you and burn out of you. And if tears want to come, you let tears come. If laughter wants to come, you let laughter come. But ultimately, you just allow it to move. You honor it fully, but you don't believe the story. Okay? Yeah, and so, I invite you just to keep opening to it. And if you notice this energy, it has a subtle intelligence to it. And it will begin to become your teacher. It will begin to become the voice of your true nature, if you allow it. So you don't see it as something separate from you, but that it's your very nature awakening up in you as you. And you'll notice it has a different kind of mind, a different kind of intelligence. You know, it moves, it speaks to us more in a realm of feeling, a movement of power, a movement of intuition. Yeah. So you just continue opening to that and listening to it. Not in a sense like listening for a heavenly voice, but just listening. It'll tell you, oh, let go here. You know, open more. Settle down. Be calm. Trust.